Welcome to the Earth Mother Show with Catherine Allen. Hi there, everybody. Welcome to the Earth Mother Show number 2. I hope you watched the intro and I hope you liked it. Today I wanted to talk about a theme that is intuitively coming to mind that I'm hoping will resonate with all of you. And that is the theme of intimacy. I believe that we are living in a time where we have a crisis of intimacy. I think it's really at a crisis level that people feel isolated and lonely. And, I'm going to partly blame technology. But it's so complex. It's really complex why we've ended up this way. If we can even think back, depends how old you are, but I can think back to when I was maybe 9 or 10 years old. There was a big debate in Ontario about keeping stores open on Sundays. Of course, now we're used to everything being open every day of the week, 24 hours a day. We're supposed to have access to everything we want, when we want it, all the time. But what that did was it took a day of rest away from people. And it took a sense of, just not always being on, not always being at work. And, some people went into work anyway on Sundays and some didn't want to, and then it forced everybody to do it if they wanted to stay competitive. And that's just one little thing that changes the social fabric, changes our sense of rest, our sense of time, whether we're available to socialize, whether we do other things than just fight to survive and compete and worry about, money all the time. Technology has done it to us as well. We're interacting through screens. Instead of looking up, people are looking down at a phone instead of looking at each other at a dinner. This is really bad, okay? I mean, I love my phone and I love Facebook and Instagram and all these things. I love what it can do for us, for me, but I really hate what it's doing to us on a social level, because people are having a harder time just knowing how to be comfortable interacting on basic stuff. Last year, I was in a restaurant, an ice cream place or something, and somebody younger came up to serve me, and she just stared. She didn't say hello. She didn't say, "Can I help you?" or "What would you like?" or anything. Just staring at me, waiting for me to bark an order at her. And that kind of thing really broke my heart, and it's everywhere. That either was she lacking the awareness to start a conversation with the customer? Or was she too shy to say hello? Or is she just so used to being bossed around and told what to do, she's just waiting for the next order? On any level, it's sad. To me, it's very sad. And so I was relaxed. I thought, I'll make a joke of it. I said, are you going to ask me what I'd like? And I thought she would just sort of go, "Oh yeah, right," and smile. But she hung her head down, and she looked like she was going to cry. I mean, to me, that's a really severe level of lack of socialization when you're in a service position in public with customers. But it's happening more and more. I know I don't need to point it out to you. And yet, we're sharing so much more personal info, right? We can find out almost anything about anybody on Facebook if they allow it. A lot of people are savvy about their privacy, but most aren't. So we're coping with overloads of information, and yet we're not close. We're not close. So it's a very weird time we're living in socially. And I purposely moved myself to this little town so that I would have a community and a social life that was live. I would see the same people. I would know my neighbors. I would talk. I would get to know people in real time and space. But I know a lot of people don't have that. And what really also sort of breaks my heart, and this topic came to me because I was watching the news, and it was maybe a couple of weeks ago now when somebody opened fire on the Republican baseball practice. And it's another thing, sadly, we're getting too used to, is, oh yeah, another shooting. It's horrible. It's just horrible if that is normalized. But what struck me after was his wife was on TV being interviewed, and she was absolutely distraught, and she just said, I had no idea. I had no idea. I didn't know he was like this. I had no idea what he was thinking. And that kind of thing also really struck me and made me sad, that we're in a crisis of intimacy. When you can be living with someone and be so disconnected from each other that you have no idea that somebody has become radicalized, that angry, that desperate, that volatile, to pick up a gun and shoot people at a baseball practice. You know, he was a grown man. He wasn't a teenager seduced online by ISIL. He was just your average, seemed like your average American guy. But how many times do you see that on the news? Somebody loses it, and some, you know, we see that kind of thing all the time on the news where somebody has lost it and gone on some sort of killing spree, and people around say, he was a normal guy, she was a normal lady, he seemed so nice, he had kids, she had kids. It's like, so? Having offspring doesn't make somebody sane? Seeming like a nice guy on the outside? Maybe they were. I mean, are we in some sort of crazy time where all of the quote-unquote normal-looking people are losing their minds? Or are we missing things intuitively that we should be sensing and picking up? Or has the social network of knowing people around you become so strained that we don't know people? We don't know people who are right next to us. And we can't know everybody. We can't keep track of everything and everyone, that is for sure. But when you're talking about somebody that you are living with, or I find it very, very sad that we've lost that degree of touch with how people are doing, that they can do these acts of desperation. And everybody says, oh, they were, I don't know, they seemed fine. I mean, I know maybe I'm an exception, being an intuitive, and it's certainly not like I walk around the sidewalk and go, oh, that one's about to go on a killing spree. No, obviously, no, I don't do that. However, if somebody in and around my, I don't know, my neighborhood or something that I had interactions with every so often suddenly lost it, I know myself that it would take a lot to shock me. It would take a lot for me to say, oh, they were a perfectly nice person, I had no idea they'd do this. Most of the time I would sense some emotional instability or some anger or some isolation, or have noticed something. But the other thing I wanted to talk about, especially if you're sensitive and empathic, is how many people who are sensitive and empathic isolate themselves. And I can be equally guilty. And a lot of it is because we get overstimulated in crowds. We don't want to have conversations that are shallow or inauthentic, or, you know, even get into like conflicts or arguments about stuff just by bringing up a light opinion. Sometimes it draws you in because somebody wants to be drawn into a big debate, and we don't tend to like that when we're empathic. But it really is, to me, again, like it's epidemic how many nice, sensitive people isolate and don't go out and don't meet new people or feel shy to go out to events that they would like to go to. And I have to be honest with you, sometimes it can be like pulling teeth to gather people like us. Once I do, a lot of people that come to my meditations and workshops, a lot of them have become friends after. And but it's so hard to get everyone out the door. And I really find this really sad, because more and more people are lonely. There are lots of nice people in the world, and we need to still make efforts to get out and meet new people. And we need to have people that we see in the flesh, go for walks with, movies, have dinner, people that we are feeling like physically at time and space, go for a walk. You can't know somebody if you aren't in physical time and space with them. Virtual just doesn't cut it. You have to meet live. There's all kinds of body language and information and compatibility that you just can't see unless you're live with somebody. So my wish for you today, if you're someone who's sensitive and isolating, is that you just take the time to think about where you could go, that you feel comfortable already, that you would feel open enough to let yourself meet someone new. I'd like you to think about people that you haven't seen in a while, somebody maybe you miss. Who could you reach out to and say hi to? Rekindle things. They're probably hoping you will as well if you miss them. And also, not to be on constant alert, but some sense of alert to who's around you. Who do you pass by all the time? Who's next to you? Who are your neighbors? Sense how your co-workers are doing. Sense how your neighbors are doing. See if there are openings for you to connect. We might have to try harder now with the digital age to make those happen in real time, but we can. We definitely can. There's no real reason we need to be lonely or isolated, any of us. We are billions of people on the planet. So between you and connecting to somebody that you could have some fun with or go for a walk with, what's stopping that? A little bit of fear, a little bit of getting over an insecurity, making a decision. Because life really challenges us to grow, and it can be wonderful when you meet new people and you let new people in. You never know who you're going to meet. So I highly, highly recommend that you think of how you can reach out and stop isolating. I hope you have a wonderful week. If you have any comments, please leave them for me and I will respond to them. And please subscribe and take a look at my website if you would like a consultation at river-rain.com. Bye for now.